beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I know, guys. Hey, Ninjani. Comment down below how you guys are doing and stuff. Guys, I know. Oh my word, like I'm so bad at this consistency thing, but you know what? Number one, I'm giving myself grace, but at the same time, I do want to improve. And guys, I will get it eventually. Please forgive me for being away for so long. But thank you guys for staying and supporting still. I really appreciate it. Honestly, if you guys weren't here, then the channel is not here. And so I can't make videos for the wall. I make videos for you guys, and so thank you for staying. Thank you for yeah, just supporting me. I really appreciate it. I know I say it every time, but it's because I really do. So with that being said, I am back with episode 5. We are rounding off the series. Finally, we're rounding it off. I thought number 5 would be a great number to round it off by. Now, if you are new here, welcome. I have been doing a series on basically basics on natural hair, so how to take care of it. We've spoken about getting to know your hair, getting to be comfortable with her. Is she thirsty? Is she more on the dry side? Is she more on the thin side? Getting to know your strands, getting to know what your hair wants. And then we also spoke about hair porosity in depth. I even gave you guys a quiz link on that video, and I will link the series to this. I will link the playlist to this series, so you can just watch the other videos if you haven't watched. We've spoken about hair porosity, like I was saying. We've spoken about scalp health, and yeah, man, it's been a really cool series for me. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. And like I said, I will link the other videos at the end of this video so you can watch. So today I thought I'd round off this series with basically what is protective styling. So protective styling, trimming, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so I hope you guys are excited because I'm excited. All right, so first and foremost, girl, what is protective styling? Protective styling is basically any type of style that you do to your hair that will be low manipulation, which means it'll keep your hands out of your hair. So it'll be low manipulation. And another thing that is the core of protective styling is that your hair, your ends especially, need to be hidden. Okay, so the reason why protective styling is so important is because remember that aspect that I always talk about, leaving our hair alone. So doing whatever you need to do to it, moisturizing it, making sure it's hydrated, making sure that it's moisturized. So you've put in the relevant sealants like your oils and your butters on top of your liquid and your penetrative liquid or leave-in. Then you put it in a style that will force you to just leave your hair alone and leave it to grow, right? So that can be after Sunday, you've done your whole wash day routine and you put in a protective style for the week and you'll see it again the next wash day. But during that week, you're still maintaining it. So you're still spraying with your leave-in. You're putting in some shea butter where you need to, if you feel like you need to re-moisturize your hair. But leaving our hair alone and putting it in protective styles can help us so much because you're not fiddling with it and also your ends are protected. So the most important time to actually have these protective styles was basically around this time where it was cold, and it's still a little bit cold now, but it's starting to warm up here in South Africa if you're watching from any other part of the world. But honestly, guys, the cold, whatever the cold is doing to your skin, it's doing that to your hair. So the fact that your face and your skin is so dry during like the winter, it's doing the same thing to your hair. So what it does is that it strips the cold, the atmosphere strips the moisture out of your hair. And so you need to add some sort of protector to your hair so that the cold doesn't strip it out. Because what happens when the moisture is stripped out, our hair starts to break, our hair gets dry, and our hair is already naturally dry. 4C hair is already naturally dry, and it doesn't need to be more dry, because that's how it ends up breaking. So now the different types of protective styles are, you can have braids, like I got my braids here. Yo guys, I need to undo my braids, but yeah, but I've kept these on for about, I think it's 3 weeks now. I know, which means it's growing. My hair is growing. So basically, braids are a great protective style. Some people say it's not a protective style because your hair can be exposed, but personally for me, I make sure that I spray whenever I remember, but I try my best to spray my hair underneath, just to make sure that you're keeping up that hydration. So it can be braids, it can be Bonnie and Betty is a very, very famous one. Now guys, with Bonnie and Betty, which is basically African hair threading, I'm not sure which thread to use. Honestly, you can use wool. I don't think it's harmed anybody's hair, but if you really are, adamant about getting the right type of thread, then you can do your own research on that, because personally, I don't think there's a problem with using just normal wool. Yeah, so there's Bonnie and Betty. Also, you can just do your cornrows. Make sure that you do your cornrows, but obviously the purpose of the protective style so that your ends are hidden. So you can do your cornrows and then you tuck your ends at the back, how they tuck like your braids in. So you can do that. You can do guys, amagoda, and tuck your hair underneath. Wigs are great protective styles. Look, a wig hides your entire hair, so from the cold, so wigs are great. Buns, as if you've got long enough hair, you can put in a bun and you tuck your ends inside the bun. That's also a really cool protective style. Probably not long term like braids, but it's still a great protective style if that's all you have at the moment. Yeah, so those are the few that I can think of. As long as your hair ends are hidden, and it's not exposed to the cold, then that's a great protective style. You can also do protective styles depending on the climate of the place that you live at. I'll try to do a video some other time about like how the sun can also affect your hair and stuff like that, because we tend to think that it's just for winter and for the cold, but the sun can also damage our hair in a way, and I'll do a video on that some other time. But yeah, so basically those are the protective styles that I can think about. Now, along with your protective styles, make sure that you're taking care of the hair underneath. Like if you put your hair in a wig, don't neglect the cornrows underneath. Make sure that you wash them when you need to wash them. Make sure you can even do just an apple cider vinegar rinse. Even with braids like this, personally, I don't really like washing braids. So if you can, just do an apple cider vinegar rinse. You can add like 1 part apple cider vinegar to 2 parts of water and dilute the apple cider vinegar so it's not too strong. And you can just put it on your scalp and rinse that off. That's a way that you can do it if you're also not a fan of washing your braids, in case you get scared that your hair is going to mat at the bottom. Another thing that I'm trying to warn about is leaving your hair in your wigs and then not taking care of the hair underneath. So not spraying it enough, not maybe basing it when you need to base it. Maybe you could base it with like a hair grow oil, like make it a nighttime routine, and make sure that the hair underneath the protective style is still fine. Even with something like Bonnie and Betty, you can still spray. But Bonnie and Betty, I'm not even gonna lie, when you thread your hair, like when you undo the thread, usually your hair is actually still quite moisturized and wet. So Bonnie and Betty is actually a really, really cool protective style to think about, especially also under your wigs. Yeah, so even with braids, make sure that you're spraying your braids. Make sure that you are basing when you need to base. Make sure that you are keeping the hair in the braids hydrated as well. And along with taking care of that, the hair underneath, put your hair in. Do not sleep on cotton or use cotton for like. Make sure that you're sleeping on a satin pillowcase to protect your hair while you sleep. Make sure that you have a satin headscarf to make sure that you're protecting your hair while you sleep. Now, I'm going to take us back. Do you guys remember when we were little? Well, when some of us were little, and we didn't really have any hair education, and so we would sleep, would relax our hair or whatever, and we would sleep on cotton pillowcases, and then your hair at the back, there's lega, like it was getting thinner and thinner to a point where you end up having either like a really thin bald patch at the back or on the side, whichever part you slept on. That's just proof what cotton does to our hair. It's literally proof of what cotton does to our hair. Cotton saps the moisture out of your hair, much like what the cold environment does to your hair. It saps out the moisture, and then your hair starts breaking and thinning out because there's no moisture inside. And so again, moisture is the key to our hair being healthy. It is the key to our hair being healthy. So if you can get the moisturization part down to the T, I'm telling you. And to preserve that moisture, make sure that you sleep on a satin pillowcase or put a satin scarf or bonnet. Now, there are so many different distributors of it. I personally have one from Massy Clothing. If you guys check them out, they are so reasonable on Instagram. Check them out. This is not sponsored at all. I'm personally just putting her on because I'm loving mine from there. So yeah, make sure that you get yourself a satin bonnet and a satin pillowcase and just protect your hair while you sleep as well. Stress-free, carefree. Okay, now we're going to move on to the second part of this video, which is trimming. Now, when it comes to trimming, funny enough, if you follow me on Instagram, which you totally should, I am on my head in my heart. I actually shared a story where I found a split end. And I don't know where and why we get this misconception that our hair doesn't split the same as other types of hair, 3C, 2A, 1A, the other types. Like 4C hair also does experience split ends, like we do. I personally saw one on my hair because at the end of the day, a hair strand is a hair strand. It's made out of keratin. It's made out of the same type of stuff, protein. And so if you're not taking care of it, it's going to split and it's most probably going to look the same, that split end. So you need to make sure that you're cutting your split ends before they travel all the way up. And what happens is when it travels all the way up, it's over, my guy, because then your hair is actually damaged. Really, that's what that is. So we need to make sure that we are trimming our hair. Now, how often you trim your hair, that can be different for the different types of hair in the different categories. Someone in the 1C category probably needs to trim their hair more often than someone in the 4C category. That definitely, I agree, differs. But I'm going to tell you this. If you are somebody that keeps your hair moisturized, if you're someone that keeps your hair hydrated and moisturized, and you sleep on your satin pillowcase and your bonnet, and you protective style a lot or whatever in the right way, obviously, and you make sure that you're taking care of your hair under the protective style, you probably won't have to trim as often because your hair is constantly moisturized and it's constantly healthy. Now, if you're someone whose hairs, you don't really take care of your hair, you might get split ends more because your hair is breaking more because it's dry more. I mean, you see where I'm going with this. So just I think it's definitely up to you. You guys know I'm a big advocate of doing what works for you. I believe that we can incorporate what we learn from each other in this community, but at the end of the day, you need to do what works for your hair, and that's why I'm a big advocate as well of knowing your hair. So yeah, how often you do it, it doesn't have to be a schedule of like every 3 months, every 2 months. You can actually go ahead and see if your hair needs it. Some signs, okay, of when you need to trim. I'm going to insert a photo right here of why I need to trim my hair. Apart from the fact that I found a split end, because that also could be relative. It could be like the rest of my hair is fine and maybe I found one split end somewhere. So basically here, when the ends of your hair, the ends of your fro start being transparent and looking very when you try to do a style, the style doesn't come out clean. It comes out a bit frivolly. I don't know what the word is, but it's not cute. And it's not like clean cut at the ends. Then definitely that's a sign that your hair is struggling and you need to let go of those ends. And that's one way to tell. And so when you twist up your hair, you'll find that the ends of your twist are very, very transparent. Then you can go ahead and cut that off. I'm gonna do a video on when I take off my braids and I trim my hair, so keep a lookout for that. And I'll do like a how to trim your hair video. Another way that you can know is, yeah, when you can feel your hair and at the ends they don't feel, you know, when you can run your hands through your hair, like, and then at the end it feels a bit like it's getting stuck-ish. That might be because of single strand knots. And so because our hair is so kinky and coily, sometimes it coils into itself and then it makes a single strand knot, and you need to get rid of those as well because they can cause tangles and they can cause split ends. So you just let those ends go. You're holding on to dead weight. It's not going to do anything for your growth. Just let it go. So that's another way to actually tell when your hair needs a trim. Some people do the search and destroy method so that they're not getting rid of healthy hair. Some people do the twist method, like I told you. Some people straighten their hair, particularly to trim it so they can see the line of demarcation, because you can see the healthy hair from the unhealthy hair, and then they just snip that out. Yeah, but I will expand more on that on the trimming video. So yeah, and make sure that you pay attention to your hair, guys. If you really are serious about growing your hair and stuff like that, or you just want to have healthy hair, then just observe your hair when you do it. Have a nighttime routine where you're including basing your scalp, spraying it, spritzing it. Yeah, that's really what I can think of when it comes to trimming your hair. And just making sure that you're protecting your hair, making sure that you're protecting it while you sleep. And yeah, that's what I can think of right now. That is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, man, I think I've covered the basics of natural hair in this series. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I'm sorry it took so long to release the last video again, but I thank you guys. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please give me a massive thumbs up because it helps my channel a lot. And yeah, please share this with a friend, a girlfriend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for part 2 where I talk about Black is King and how it basically relates to this series. That's just going to be an extra little something for some of you guys if you're interested in part 2. But thank you so much for watching this series, and I will see you guys in my next video. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do other series in the future. Definitely not. I probably will. But for now, yeah, let's wrap this up. Let's be done. And I hope that we're getting these basics right and down to the T. Okay, I'm blabbing too much because I missed you guys. But anyway, please make sure you engage with me at the bottom. And I have seen some video suggestions as well. Or basically questions that I'll answer in videos, and I try to answer all my questions where I can. But thank you guys for engaging with me. Continue to keep it up in the comments. I love you guys. That's just my opinion. Please note again, this is all just purely my opinion, okay? And so I think as a creative, she was trying to pay homage to Africa as a creative and say, you know, someone said Beyonce is as much as black as